Welcome, everyone, to today's show. I'm JJ Flizanes, your host and producer. Thank you for downloading today's episode. Today, we're going to talk about stepping into who you are. Today's show is very special to me because it is a live recorded show in Atlanta, Georgia, with my Inner Circle Mastermind. And I decided to call it Stepping Into Who You Are because I asked them all a question after they do their introductions and tell you a little bit about themselves and how they got there. I asked them what belief or fear they had to overcome in order to commit to themselves. Because be clear that in any situation where you're, let's say, spending money on something that you want for yourself or others, it's not necessarily that you're spending it on the person per se, like on whoever you're giving the money to, especially in a mastermind situation. You're investing it into you. And whether it be hiring a coach, going to an event, getting some help, putting your money where your mouth is, a lot of times people want growth, but they aren't willing to do anything about it. Just talk about it and think about it. And these ladies, and by the way, the mastermind is open to men as well, but these ladies stepped up and said, I want to commit to myself. And I know a lot of us get nervous about taking bold action, about taking any action. And we allow those upper limits to stop us, and then we don't grow. And we think, oh, why do I keep sabotaging myself? Why does this happen over and over again? And until we see the pattern of how I'm not breaking through this upper limit, the upper limit only means this is as much success, love, and abundance as I'm allowing myself to receive. The only way to get from point A to point B is to learn how to receive in a bigger way, which means taking bigger action to A, open up your arms a little wider and say, I'm ready, I'm worthy, and I'm willing. And to also let the universe know energetically that you're ready for something new. You're ready for something more, and you're wanting to be more comfortable, more secure, more grounded, more excited, happier, freer, whatever adjective would describe for you, something that's a little bit more expanded than where you sit right now. In today's episode, we talk about everybody's business, so you know a little bit about everybody. But the purpose of today also, besides I want to inspire those of you who are on the edge of taking action for something. You want to grow in some way. You want to lose weight. You want to build your business. You want a better relationship. Guys, these things don't happen by accident. We actually have to spend money, time, and attention on learning, on growing, on expanding, and on being part of a community or some kind of accountability in order for that to happen. In the mastermind, we do what's called a work blitz. And occasionally we'll set up a couple hours to just hold space for each other. We'll be on the computer on a Zoom call and do whatever we need to do. And I recently on Labor Day thought, wow, my desk is a mess and so is my floor. And I said, hey, anybody want to do a spontaneous last minute work blitz? And of course I had several people that said, sure, yeah, I want to get stuff done too. I know what I need to do to support my growth. I need accountability. And in the 20 plus years I've been working with personal development, accountability is where change happens. So today, in order to celebrate everyone in our community, these ladies who've taken that big leap, who've said, I want to invest in myself and grow myself, I'm asking you, the rest of the community, to support them. While we give all of the email addresses and all of the website addresses for all their businesses, I've collected them and put them on one place. And I'm calling it Support Small Business because I want us all to collectively take this energy and momentum of belief in oneself, on taking a big leap, on expanding our own success by contributing. Imagine if you were in their shoes and you were starting a business. Wouldn't you want to know that the universe supported you and the people in your community supported you? This isn't a guilt trip. I'm just saying, I want everybody to, if it calls to you, if it speaks to you, I want you to check out this page. It's jjflizanes.com/support. Again, that's jjflizanes.com/support. So on this episode, when I'm talking about all these different links in the show notes, there won't be. All these different links are on this page, jjflizanes.com/support, because I'm asking you as a community, if you're not ready to start your own business or invest in yourself in some meaningful stretch yourself way, I'm asking that if there is something that you hear in today's episode that you could use as a Christmas gift, as a birthday gift, that you could invest and help support this community and small businesses. Once again, that's jjflizanes.com/support. Now, for those of you that also just don't even understand what a mastermind is, in the book Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill, he talks about a mastermind group as a peer-to-peer mentoring group used to help members solve their problems with input and advice from other group members. The concept was coined in 1925 by author Napoleon Hill. Mastermind groups offer a combination of brainstorming, education, peer accountability, and support in a group setting to sharpen your business and personal skills. A mastermind group helps you and your mastermind group members achieve success because you're not only having accountability and commitment, you're also having learning. So we're not going to go into all the details about my group. We are taking early applications for those that might be interested, but you can find, again, that link on jjflizanes.com/support. So whether you have a business or not, or you ever will have a business or not, we all have upper limits. And we all have areas where we sabotage ourselves, areas where we want to grow and we want to allow more into our lives. And so I want today for you to listen to the show with that in mind. I want you to hear the stories. I want you to hear the similarities between their lives and yours and see what you can take away and apply to your life right now. Where can you stretch yourself to allow more in? Where can you deepen your relationship with yourself? And most importantly, how can you become accountable to that? Because if no one's looking, most of us aren't going to change. We need the accountability in order for someone to hold the candle to say, I believe in you and you can do this. To have the group support of like-minded people. I can't stress how like-minded is so important, especially in today's world. If you do not have a group of like-minded people where you can be who you are freely and fully, I implore you to get a group. Now, you know I have the Inner Circle membership, and that's peanuts. It's $9.99 a month. And there is some accountability, but it's nowhere near the mastermind, of course. And it doesn't have to be my group. But find a group where you can feel free. Because if in your life you have no outlet for who you really are, then you're definitely not living your best life. Because you're always repressing what you really think and feel and the things you really want to talk about. And if there's nothing else I care about in terms of helping to empower you, it is to do that. And the question becomes, are you worth it? Do you believe in you? Because it has to start with you. So I hope today inspires you to take some bold action and stretch yourself. Welcome, everyone, to today's show. Today's show is a special episode. We're doing the Mastermind Roundtable. So this weekend, we were in Atlanta, Georgia, and we had our first Inner Circle Mastermind weekend. And we've concluded it. And we're still hanging out right now. I've had dinner. We've had some drinks. We've been on camera. We've cried a little. We've laughed a lot. We've danced some. We've exercised. We're finishing up some cookies. And I thought this would be a good time. I'm not normally the one doing the interviews at the end of one of my events. So it'll be really fun for me to ask some questions and to get some feedback from you guys about what's some of the best parts about this weekend for you and just being a part of this group in general. I know for me, doing this was scary. So talking about upper limits, asking people to join me on a journey of building their businesses, their relationships, their health seemed like a tall order at the boot camp when I first announced it, when I first put myself out there. With the fear of rejection, of course, that nobody would be interested. And if that was the case, I thought, okay, cool. If nobody wants to do it, then I guess it's not a good idea. And luckily for me, there were many people that wanted to do it. And a lot of them are sitting around this table right now. So first at the mic, introduce yourself, Liz.
I'm Liz, and I started working with JJ, I don't know, a year and a half ago or something. So the boot camp was my second live event that she was talking about. And at that point, I was getting ready to start a health coaching business. And I was on the brinks of just thinking about it. And she's like, I'm starting this mastermind. And I was thinking, this would be a good time for me to work with her in this capacity because, yes, I ran a family business my whole life with my family, and I know like the ups and downs, but that was started 30 years ago, and social media and all the other forms of marketing were completely different. So I know a lot of stuff, but there's a lot of new stuff for me to learn, and she's taught me along the way, and it's become easy and seamless. And in the process, with me becoming a health coach, I've also branched off some into more of energy healing. And so for me to have these two modalities stick together and starting and making connect somehow in my mind and how they could both work, it's just been super helpful being able to have someone to check in with as a group and individually, so I can be able to hone in on what I want and to let the energy flow into my business, and where I'm not putting pressure on it has to be done by now, but trusting my energy to be aligned in all that I'm doing so that the business can just explode on its own. So all the overwhelm and stress and any of that kind of stuff that normally would come into, oh, I'm doing this new thing and I don't know where to go, I don't know how to start it, it's not there. It's just, okay, this is the next task that I need to do, and I do it. And it's been great.
And I'm so glad that you said all that, because you just give a really good picture for a lot of people who don't know why they'd start or where they would start, or, you know, all the different things that you were thinking about. A lot of you who are listening are fans of the show, and you've been listening for a little while. And maybe some of you just found the podcast, or some of you have been listening for 3 months, 3 years, 6 years at this point. And so they haven't met anyone else yet. And everybody here is in the Inner Circle membership, as well as the mastermind that was included in their deal. And so they don't know our community. What would you say about the ladies sitting around the table right now?
That we are all amazing, non-judgmental people in a community where you can trust each other and support one another, who come from all different walks of life that can build you up and help build up a business together on the foundations of trust and community and friendship.
Beautiful. Were you afraid when you took the leap?
No. I was not afraid when I took the leap to the mastermind. I was afraid the first time I showed up at your live event. Because I had a lot of things I still needed to work on for myself. My first live event that I had with you, I didn't even like speaking in the microphone. And here I am on a podcast speaking in the microphone, not even caring. So having the boot camp be 9 months later was night and day. So by the time it came for me to build a business and start a mastermind, it was the right time. So absolutely, there wasn't any fear. But that's not to say that there was never any fear. It means I broke through the blocks and did the work to, once again, get into place while I was ready. And so I think this mastermind's for you if you're at that place where you're ready to work hard, have fun, and take a leap of faith, and know that you'll land somewhere where it's safe.
What about for the people that think, well, you've already started and I haven't started yet, and I don't even know what to do? Actually, you know what? Let me turn that one over to Sherry. So Sherry, why don't you take the mic and tell everybody who you are?
I'm Sherry, and I started when I didn't know what I was going to do. I was a little nervous about joining the Inner Circle Mastermind because I really just had this thought that I might like to have a small business, but really beyond that, I'd given it no thought. And so I was a little nervous to start because I thought, well, everybody else is going to be in business already, and everyone here has just been so supportive. And I've learned so much. And yeah, that's what I could say. That I've been very supported by JJ one-on-one, and then on the Zoom calls with each of you. And I've learned, just every time we have a get together, I learn some magical new thing, and it's very inspiring to me.
I love that. So why did you join? Like a short answer of, because someone would say, well, but you don't have a business. You said, I'm thinking about starting a business. So it was very brave and courageous for you to jump into this group of business owners. And you're like, yeah, I don't even know what to do. I think that was very courageous.
Well, I had retired 4 months before I decided to join. And it really was just a seed of an idea, but I have no business experience, none whatsoever. And I thought, if I'm ever going to start this business, it won't be because of me. I won't ever take any steps because I don't know what I'm doing. And so I thought, well, if I join these guys, they'll hold me accountable and they'll make me move forward with this idea. And something might actually happen, and I won't be sitting around 20 years from now going, God, I wish I would have started a small business.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And how's this weekend been for you?
Oh, so much fun. This is the first time I've met each of you in person, JJ included. And I don't know, somehow on the computer, you guys all seem bigger than life. And then I got to meet you, and you're just great. You're normal, loving, sweet, fun people to get to know. And so it's really been nice.
So there we have it, from the you don't even have a business, but I'm thinking about a business, to I'm ready to start my business, to let's pass the mic down to Charlene Parks, Queen Charlene.
Hello, I'm Charlene Parks from Michigan. And I found the Inner Circle Mastermind through the Manifestation Bootcamp from listening to JJ's podcast, driving to work every day. So I knew there was something that I needed, and I didn't know exactly what that was. And going to the Manifestation Bootcamp, I didn't know what to expect. I've been doing law of attraction and the manifesting and all that for about a year before. And so I was like, okay, this is feeling right. So I think on your podcast, you said, I think you need to be here. And if money is an issue for you, contact me. And that resonated with me, which money wasn't an issue, but I was like, this is serious. This lady is real, the real deal. If she's willing to, most people are just in it to get money from you and not really see the work done and it come up in your life. They don't care if you make the changes and make the difference. So you were like, if money is an issue, email me. And I was like, I like this. Okay, I'm going to register. So I think I emailed you.
Just registered. I remember so vividly. We were driving down to San Diego, Doug and I, to someone's house for dinner. And I was like, we were there. I'm like, I just sold a ticket. And I was like, and I didn't know you. And I was like, I don't know who that is. Where'd that come from? You didn't even reach out. Like, you didn't say anything. And then when I reached out to you, like, I started listening to the show like 2 months ago. And I swear, I think that is the fastest turnaround from listening to the show and taking bold action in coming to a live event. Now, there was one close by, right? Yeah. So it wasn't like you started in, February and you would have had to wait 8 months or 7 months to come to the event.
I think you said this is the last live event I'm going to do this year. And I really wanted to know, how do I manifest peace, abundance, and wealth in my life? And a lot of that was me inhibiting myself from moving forward. And I was like, I want to go and be immersed in I didn't even really realize the community that you had. So it was like amazing to come. When I left, I was like, hi, like I'm going to go home and I'm going to do these things. So prior to that, I was told 3 different times that I needed a mastermind. And I looked online, I saw all these different mastermind groups, and I was like, that doesn't feel right. Do
you know why they didn't feel right? Can you put any words to that? I'm just curious.
It seemed larger than where I was in my journey. Some of them were $15,000, $20,000 a year. Some of them wanted you to be $100,000, executives. And I'm like, that doesn't really fit for me. And it was mostly, the representation wasn't.
You can say it.
People that look like me. And I didn't feel like this was going to be a group to catapult me to where I wanted to go. Or either they were so big that I wouldn't fit in. Because if you're an executive of a big corporation, you're going to look at me like, you're a little, you're small time. So when I came to the Manifestation Bootcamp and I saw the mastermind, I was like a little intimidated at first. Like, well, okay, but I need this. And so when you gave us the offer and I went to my room and I slept on it and I woke up and I was like, oh, you're doing this. And that was when I came back, like, okay, I'm doing this. This is what I need to do. So I was really happy with that. And I didn't know what to expect, but I'm so glad.
Talk about this weekend, just briefly about your, the community part, because, it's in terms of, people either of color or of different races or of different, religions or even sexual orientation might feel like, well, I don't know, because I don't know who's in the group and I don't know if I'd be accepted.
There's the commonality between all of us. And that kind of hit home with me. Like I really felt a connection with each and every woman here. And the struggles are not unique to a color or a culture or your social economic background. It was just every one of us has a unique story, and we're trying to overcome fear. We're trying to raise happy, healthy children. We're trying to be in relationships. We all want the same things. So all of that directly ties to our business and us being successful and really walking in our power and being successful. And I didn't realize how much until this weekend. So
by this point, you've probably already heard Charlene's story since she's going to be on the podcast. I don't know if this is publishing before or after, but if not, Charlene, just why don't you tell everybody the name of your business and what you do?
My business is Amika Consulting Group, and we help IT and project management professionals find jobs and build up their confidence in their resumes and their background to get the jobs that can help them fulfill, get fulfillment in their lives. In doing so, I have several contracts with government and private companies where I do staffing. We offer IT consulting, project management, and we also do training for corporations as well.
And career coaching.
Career coaching, correct. Yes.
Why don't you give the mic back to Liz? Liz, what do you do?
I am an energy healer, which could put most people off. It put me off myself the first several years of me being around energy healing because I'm a scientist, I'm a chemist, and I like hard numbers. And energy healing to me was like, I don't think so. I don't believe in this. I'm out. But I had an opportunity to sit in on a healing circle where we were releasing emotional DNA that was inherited and trapped emotions. And I walked away an hour after the session, a changed person. And I didn't know that was possible. I didn't know it was possible to change that instantly and feel that much lighter. For me, having gone through that experience where I was so against it, I started working on myself and doing energy healing. Today, I never thought that was me. I never thought I had the gifts and the talents and the ability to be an energy healer, to have the ability to be somebody that could release these negative blocks from somebody else so that they can move forward in happiness and hope and freedom like I had. But I discovered over this time in the process of my own healing that I do have this ability and I want to share it with others. So I'm an energy healer that will help you find the same relief in your life.
beacontohealth.com and amikaconsultinggroup.com. And all of those links will be in the show notes. Pass it back to Sherry because, wow, she doesn't have a website yet. Sherry, what are you doing? What are we thinking you're doing?
Well, I'm thinking about having a small ecotourism business in my area on the Oregon coast. And I also am kind of exploring the idea of I'm a gardener and I love pretty little garden pots. And so I'm thinking about painting and decorating them. And it'll be really hard to sell them because I'll want to keep them all. But so those are the two ideas I have. And I'm excited about both of them.
And we'll keep you posted on Sherry's website to come. You thought you were getting off the hook and it was going the other way around the table. All right, Dee.
Hi, JJ.
Tell everyone about you, Dee.
I am Dee. I live here in Georgia. I got to know JJ through her podcast years ago on my walks every morning. Listened to JJ for about probably a good year, and then was part of your beta mastermind group. Actually came out to California to the Manifestation Boot Camp where I got to meet her and several of the people that are here in this group. And that, like Charlene mentioned, that's where you told us about the Inner Circle Mastermind. And I told you before I left that sign me up because I knew at that time I was getting ready. I had been really, really considering retiring early. I had pretty much made up my mind. I went to school and studied graphic design, but was in the corporate world in sales for 30 years and knew that that's what I wanted to do in the next chapter. And so there was a perfect opportunity for me to start looking at the business side of things and just putting everything in place. And luckily, the company went through a restructure at the beginning of last year, offered us packages, and I was gone before you know it by raising my hand. And so it was divine intervention.
It was a
manifest.
You manifested that shit.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And so here I am in this group.
What do you think about the group?
I've gotten a lot more than I thought I would. I think I had this preconceived notion that because I am a fine artist, it was very different than what a lot of people here are doing with respect to business. And I thought, I was really questioning whether I was going to come away with whatever it was I was looking for. But I've come away with so much more of that. And I think it was really more on this spiritual, and the healing part of me. We artistic people tend to be very, very much in our head, but I've been able to work through a lot of things with the thanks of you, and especially with the help of this group throughout the year and this weekend, to really just kind of work on myself, which in turn benefits my business.
So, we all broke out of our states during COVID. We came to Atlanta here where Dee lives, and people are super afraid of getting together with other people, not all over the place here in Georgia. You guys have been open for a while, but what would you say to the people who, about like getting together in person? I mean, isn't this experience is so much more because we're together in person?
Absolutely.
Okay, but I don't want to say that. I want to know what you guys have to say. I can say one thing, but it's not about me. It's about you. And that's how I always position any investment anyone makes in something that I'm offering. That's not an investment in me. Clear, it's an investment in you. That's what I said at the mastermind. Whatever that price tag is, it isn't about you're paying me. It's you are owning up to increasing and stepping into a bigger part of who you are. And because of the commitment, energetically, you will match that. But at the same time, there can be an online version, which we've been doing for a while, and this got pushed out and pushed out. It was supposed to be March, then it was end of May, and now it's middle of June. But I'd like to hear too, just the difference between doing it online and doing it like we did it this weekend.
It's like night and day. Even though I felt like I knew these women here, I didn't really know them. And we're able to not only meet as a group, but talk one-on-one amongst ourselves and, ask deeper questions and dig deeper into anything you want, anything you want. I feel very comfortable with these women. I feel like I've known them for a long time. And there's vulnerabilities out there. Everybody's scared to death. I know I am of opening up to people sometimes, but just to be in person, it's just so different. Mm-hmm. You get so much more out of it. I have, for sure.
Excellent. Thank you. What would you just say to anybody who was wondering if this was right for them? I mean, in terms of any fears, like what fear might you have had? You even said you had fear coming into this weekend.
I did.
So what was the fear of coming into this weekend?
Probably what I said earlier, just about I feel like my business is very different than a lot of other people's, but it really isn't. And that's one thing I learned over the past 2 days is that there's a lot more similarities there than I ever thought there would be. And just being open to listening to everybody else and what their struggles are, and taking those and applying them to my business and applying them to my life. If I had listened to that fear within me about, I'm too different than them, I'm not going to get anything out of this, I'm not going to be able to offer them anything, I would have missed out.
I'm glad you didn't listen to that fear.
Me either.
And I'm sure everybody else would agree.
What up, party people?
Woohoo! Everyone's being so quiet. They're like, "Oh, we're recording." Unlike video, you can be a little more rowdy, and just as long as people can hear her.
So I'm Alejandra. I am from Austin, Texas. You may or may not have heard an episode
or two
me on with JJ earlier. I'm a doula, birth photographer, working on some other healing modalities, and I came to JJ, I don't know, I guess it was a little over a year ago now, but I met her at the Releasing What Weighs You Down back in January of 2020. And that was a really transformational experience for me. And I for sure did not know what to expect going into that. At the end of the experience, I felt like when the mastermind was being talked about, I felt like if I could have this experience at one event, oh my God, what could happen over the course of a year? And how can I not invest in myself in that way to just go find out? It would have been stupid to walk away from that. I mean, like, it was just, and that was the momentum that carried me into doing it, even though I was a little like, okay, I'm going to do it. But it's been great. It's been, I didn't know most of the girls here. Crystal was there too. But so we've been having meetings via Zoom and learning about different parts of business and stuff. But meeting in person has been really the connection and the energetic connection that you have with people, you just don't get that online. And there's like right now there's no men here, so it's all women. So there's a bit of a sisterhood that we've created, I feel like, and it is a little bit like Dee was saying, like I feel like I've known some of these girls for a really long time, even though we've like literally just met 2 days ago. But there's an honesty here, and there is a lot of vulnerability. But everyone's holding space for everyone else to open up and step into who they are and step into that power and finding your self-worth, which I think has been kind of a theme of the weekend. But it's been fantastic. And I can't say enough good things about investing in yourself and believing in yourself enough to do something like this.
I know that a lot of us feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, although I think I've heard this, a lot of us feel like at home we're a little weird and not everybody gets us or wants to talk about the things that we want to talk about. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So here, did that ever come up? Did anyone ever feel like they would say something that would be, someone would be judging them or thinking they're weird?
No, not at all.
Right. I think, yeah, Charlene just did like an exhale.
Big sigh.
Waiting to exhale.
Yeah.
Right. There's so if you're someone, I think, I don't know if this is if everyone's podcast, but I know with my community, I feel like I'm so out there in ways that I'm like, if you listen to me long enough and you meet other people who listen to me long enough, you're almost like, oh, I got you. Like, I know all the things you're into.
Yep.
You don't even need to tell me because if you listen to JJ, like you're a woo-woo kind of person too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You don't have to hold any of those parts of yourself back, which I think is really great. And I think with even the Inner Circle membership, there's a lot of community there and this is like, if you have that, if you're in that group with us, if you're in the Inner Circle membership and there's that sense of community that we've fostered even just in a Facebook group, like, can you even imagine what it's like to be in person with these people? I mean, it's pretty awesome.
Thanks. I'm so glad you decided to join.
Me too.
Because you weren't even working on your own business yet. You were getting ready to quit corporate.
Yeah. I made the jump from corporate to, and that, I mean, it really was the releasing what weighs you down is really gave me the kind of the push to do that. So yeah.
So Alejandra represents those in transition who know they're going to leap. Mm-hmm. And that's another phase, right? Because if we look at like where everybody is, there are people in very different phases. And so I think, and I was even like not concerned, but thought, is it going to be okay for everybody? Is there going to be enough, that everyone has in common that they are going to learn about? Is it going to be overwhelming? Are they going to get all bored with the technical stuff where people are in a different place than they are? And I think from this weekend, you guys have said, no, it just, if it's some place further than where I am, I just see it and I know what's coming, right? Versus really, we're all dealing with some of the same things. And even the personal growth side is really what the bottom line is of the fuel that you need in any business that you run. Because if you're not resilient in who you are and loving of yourself, then you're not going to put yourself out there as a business. You're not going to put yourself out there as a business or put your business out there if you have shame.
Right.
And your business is an extension of you in any way, which for everybody here it is. Even if we're hiding behind it from other things, it still is an extension of who we are because it's things we're passionate about, things we love, things that light us up. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, yeah. So doulahandra.com. I'm a doula, birth photographer, depending on when this comes out, craniosacral therapist, and I serve mothers and infants and babies, families. So check me out at doulahandra on Instagram or doulahandra.com on the web.
I have my own studio, and you can find me online at www.darentstudios.com, and that's spelled AURANDT. I am also on Instagram under darent.art. That's a mouthful. So that's DEE dot AURANDT dot art, A-R-T. Woo!
And check out her art. It's beautiful. I can't wait to have one hanging on my wall. All right, Miss Veronica.
Hi.
Hi.
I am Veronica, and I'm from Dallas, Texas. I started listening to JJ after searching for Law of Attraction on podcasts. I had attracted or manifested many things throughout my life and was still searching for something. So when I found her, I felt like I found my people. Yeah. I went to the Manifestation Boot Camp back in October and met a few of these ladies and realized what a transformational experience it was. And I gained a lot of community through that.
And what is your business, Miss Veronica? What stage were you at when you decided, because you came to the boot camp and three of these ladies joined me that day. And they were like, woohoo, we're in now. And then later, because you were already working with me and you're like, I'm thinking about joining the boot camp, the mastermind. And I was like, oh, okay. And then like a month would go by. And you're like, I'm like, yeah, I'm still going to join. I'm like, okay. And then another month went by and I was like, are you joining us? I'm going to close it soon. So talked about where you were when you decided to join.
I knew I wanted to start a business from a very early age. I just didn't know really where I wanted to go with it. And I think after taking some time and really thinking about what I was passionate about, I realized that I was really passionate about natural health and healing versus conventional medicine. So then I started researching and doing a little work on myself and decided to do natural healing through herbs and different kitchen staples, health.
And the name of your business?
It's Nature's Sorcery.
And what are some of the products that you have?
So right now I have elderberry syrup and elderberry tincture, and I am working on other tinctures to help with pain and other ailments.
And where can they find you?
They can find me at naturesorcery.com or on Instagram at naturesorcery, all one word.
So I want you guys to all be thinking, I'm going to ask you a question after Crystal takes center stage and tells her story. I want everyone to think about one fear that you had that you didn't let stop you. You had to overcome to make the decision to either be here live, join the group, start your business, keep your business going, trust yourself. Because what stops people, right, the upper limits people have are usually worry and fear and self-doubt, but it's usually some belief. And I think people who are out there, whether they join the mastermind, this one or not, or they're looking into a business, or they think, how can I do that? You guys are doing it, and maybe they're where you were, and they're listening for, well, what is it that you had to overcome? Maybe it's just easy for you, but it's really hard for me. So after Crystal, I want you just like one belief system that you had to overcome, or a fear, or something you told yourself that you had to then get over or talk yourself out of, really, to sort of continue to propel forward. So,
Crystal. Hi, JJ. I'm so happy to be back on your podcast. Episode 209, if you missed it last time.
You might have remembered Crystal. She was channeling her inner Oprah when she was talking about her business healing crystal, and she was saying, you get a bath bomb, and you get a bath bomb. So you got to get in now before I'm too big.
And yes, I did have wine again tonight, but no, but I'm just so excited to be here this weekend at the mastermind. Just to piggyback off of what the other ladies were saying, it's just such a different experience being in person. I mean, or just, okay, so any other mastermind, you don't know the person, whatever, you're in a room, you're like process mapping, whatever. Okay, all right, everyone, meet back up tomorrow morning. No, we are all here together, and, somebody has something coming up that may not be about their business, and it's more emotional. Guess what? We're going to freaking talk about that, because if you hold that in, it affects your business. And that's the biggest difference between this mastermind and another mastermind. And you know what? Is the other mastermind leaders going out with you and staying up and playing games and making you cookies and
like gluten-free cookies. They're paleo, actually.
Yes.
Continue. Just have to be clear.
And just having just such a great time. So it truly is a community, and JJ is there as a coach and a leader and our friend. And it's just so much fun hanging out with these girls, and you learn so much. I have so many takeaways, but not only for my own business, but when other people are talking about theirs, then just the juices start flowing. It's like, oh yeah, I need to do that. Oh, I need to do that. So it's not like, oh, this is your 1 hour and now you're done. You're listening to everyone else. No, you are constantly getting more out of everyone else because it just makes you think of more. Oh, maybe I can go in on that with you and do that as well. So it's just so great being in person. The daily life can get in your way sometimes when you're on a Zoom call. You can be a little out of touch. So being away and in person just makes you that more engaged.
What fear did you have to get over to invest in yourself and a business to either come to the first event or to join the mastermind?
I would definitely self-doubt, and it's still something I work on, but I didn't have this business very long. I think after your first, the next big step event, I was like, oh, I'm going to create my own business. So I work a corporate job, and it's just something that I really felt I had to do to let out my creative outlet and be more girly when I have a house full of boys. But then that whole self-doubt with the mastermind, like, oh, but what makes my stuff so special or whatever? Well, you know what? I had 2 sales in the last 24 hours and I haven't advertised my business at all, let alone made very many products lately. So no, my stuff and everyone's services and products are selling because people like us, and that just this event helps me reaffirm that. It's not about my product, it's about me and what I want to do. And not only that, but my corporate job isn't the end all be all, but neither is Healing Crystal. I'm already thinking of other fun things that I'm going to do too. So this is just the tip of the iceberg.
And tell everybody your business who doesn't already know.
So again, check me out on episode 209, and you're going to wonder why I'm so calm versus that episode. But stay tuned for the video because I was a little spastic. No. So my business is healingcrystal.com, CHRISTEL. And I have natural bath and body products, shower gel, lotion, essential oils, bath bombs, lip balms, skin balms. So all that.
Bath salts. You said bath salts?
Bath salts. Yep. And at Healing Crystal on Instagram as well.
And if you'd like to purchase anything, you would get 20% off with the discount code JJ at healingcrystal.com. Check the show notes for also the link and the correct spelling, which is CHRISTEL. Pass it to Charlene. What fear, belief did you have to tackle and change and reframe to allow yourself to invest in yourself and your business?
Well, coming to the boot camp, I didn't really know you in the community. So when when the offer was presented to me, one of the my apprehension and fear was the cost. And
of the boot camp or of the mastermind?
The mastermind.
Okay.
Of the mastermind was the cost, because as a small business owner, being a solopreneur, I have to watch expenses, and I'm budgeting and I'm trying to grow, and I'm like, okay, what is every expense that I have? I look at the ROI of that, and I'm like, what am I going to get out of this to justify this cost? So I'm a Sagittarius, and I am very logical, and I'm thinking and thinking and thinking. And I went back to my room that night because when I left, I was like, I'm not doing this. I just was immediately like, nope, this is salesy. I'm not doing it. But when I went back to my room, I went to sleep and I woke up and it was like, you're doing this. And it was just, I'm learning about following your intuition. And a part of that was, I didn't know what that was then, but something was saying, you need to do this. And you will get so much more than what you're spending. And it wasn't really the guarantee. I had to put on this is a business expense. You can write this off. You can.
Everyone in this group, everyone can write this off.
Right. So I was like, this is a no-brainer at this point. And so it was like, you can write this off. And then when I came back the next day and we all were talking, and I was like, this is such an awesome community. You can write it off. I already was kind of like, you're doing this when I came back, but that was just like, yo, yeah, you're doing this. And then I started, as you elevate and grow, you can't be afraid of numbers. You have to get comfortable, every level. When I first went into business, if somebody said 200 or 300,000, that would intimidate me. Now I'm like, oh, okay. So I can't limit myself. I have to expand. And the more I expand, it's going to get me prepared for those $1 million contracts. Or, if somebody comes to me and they say, oh, that's 1.2 million, I'm prepared and I'm not like sticker shock. And I have to say, okay, well, I know the questions to ask. I know what to expect. I know how that affects my business and how it's going to grow my business and grow me. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take a leap of faith and do this, because what's the worst thing that could happen? I could write it off.
That's very logical.
Yes.
That's very logical. Worst thing that could happen is nothing, and I write it off. It's a tax write-off.
So
pretty low bar, I would say. Like, like I think. Right.
So, it was not even a rational fear, but being a new business owner, you get very intimidated by coming from corporate to a business. It's different. It's just different. You're just not, your mindset isn't there. So if someone says, oh, this is 10 grand or this is 12 grand, you're like, what? But you see those numbers all the time, but it's just like, okay, this is something that's not tangible that I'm going to get, that I could physically feel, and, it has value in the world. But I think I'm very glad that I did it. And I think if anyone listens to you and they're attracted to you, it's something that they should do if they're being called to do it, because there's a reason why. Even if you don't have a business yet, maybe you are supposed to have a business, and this is where you need to be to cultivate those skills, to understand what you need to do to get to that next level. I've uncovered things in this group that I never thought. So I'm very like, okay, I'm going to make this much. The podcast, even the coaching, none of that was my focus when I came to the boot camp. I did staffing. I want to place more people. I want this many people placed, because that's going to give me this much money. And I could hide behind my logo and my brand, and I don't have to deal with me being in the forefront. But this group has made me realize that's really not my purpose, and I need to be pivoting. So,
and true to you.
True. Yeah.
Okay. So this is still something I'm working on, but it's just fear of getting out of your comfort zone and stepping into the spotlight. I'm still working through that. And with this group, I think that I can get there. Yeah. I aspire to be a lot like Crystal and Charlene and Alejandra and Sherry and Liz and Dee. And definitely like JJ.
Well, I would say she opened up a lot this weekend, right? You saw a lot more of her than you have in the whole entire 6 months, right?
Very true.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
So for anyone else who feels do you feel like you're super shy?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
What would you tell someone who feels super shy?
Get over it.
So one of the things that I was afraid of wasn't in the mastermind itself or JJ, because I trusted her at this point. The thing I was afraid of was I was not ready with myself to start my own business. And I kept saying, I need to wait 6 months. I'm not physically where I want to be. So starting this mastermind with her and realizing I don't have to be where I want to be 100%. I can still do things, was the fear I had to get over. And I've started my energy healing business. I've pivoted a little bit away from health coaching, which I'm passionate about both because I've come so long on this journey. And the purpose of me starting this business in the first place and walking away from a perfectly good job, or not walking away, learning how to balance the both of them out, is that I want to help people. And I can't help people hiding behind the shadows. So the fear I had to get over was just get started and trusting in the fact that there are people to walk on this journey with me, along with me during the process of what I'm doing, that I can still help and we can help each other. So if you follow me on Instagram at Beacon to Health, you will start seeing my story progress on this account, and you can come on this journey with me as I overcome these fears.
Right on. So Alejandra again. The biggest fear for me was, it was also around money, but it was not in exactly the same way as what Charlene was saying. For me, it was, I knew I wanted to start my business. I had technically started my business, but I wasn't really doing much with it because I was also in a corporate job full time. And so I had reached out to JJ at one point and was like, oh yeah. I'm going to join later. I'm going to join like in the middle of the year. That wasn't really an option. I didn't fully understand the whole shebang. But so for me, it was really kind of, I had set up these parameters in my head where I'm not going to be able to walk away from this corporate job. I have this steady income. I need to be able to have so much money in the bank so that I can walk away and know that I'm going to be okay. There was never a quote unquote good time. That was my biggest fear, was what am I letting go of, this corporate steady income? And I'm really going to have to rely on myself. And so that was sort of the transformation. I had kind of all of it at the same time at the Releasing What Weighs You Down. It was getting over that fear, and sort of overcame that fear and jumped right into the mastermind kind of all at the same time. But so for me, it was really the fear of letting go of a steady income, but realizing that steady income brought with it a lot of unhappiness that was turning into anger, that was ruining my relationship with my husband, that was showing my kids a really negative way to be in life. And it wasn't worth the paycheck. And so realizing all of that and starting to believe in myself enough to realize I don't need to rely on someone else to give me my paycheck. I can make my own paycheck because of me, because of my business and what I'm putting out into the world. So yeah, that was a big one for me.
This is Dee again, the artist. Mine was kind of twofold, I guess. I had touched upon it earlier with respect, I guess, to skepticism as to whether this was for me and my type of business and my creative business. So that was one. And then the other, of course, was the fact that would I really have the time to put into it? Because at that point, I was still in my corporate job, feeling the pull to retire early. But when, the company offered the packages and all the good, presents to me at the beginning of the year following, at that point, I didn't know that was going to happen. So just kind of worrying whether I would be able to get my money's worth out of it and put the time in that I would need to put into it, because I would still be working full time. So worry and skepticism, were my two upper limiting fears.
And your rationale was, so you had those and then you did it anyway. So you did it because?
Well, because I know me and it's like, once I make the decision, I'll do it. And if I went home and thought about it, I would talk myself out of it. So
you leaped.
I did. I leaped head first.
Well, good.
Yeah.
I think it worked out. I don't know.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I think so too.
Is that not good for me to say? Good. I'm glad. Sherry?
I think there were a couple things I was afraid of. One was the investment, because I recently retired and going from a full-time paycheck to just a fixed income, and, not knowing in the time that we have this year, if it would be enough time to really get enough expertise to really launch a business. It's kind of a leap of faith. And then also listening to your podcast, and like when you did the last boot camp, I think you kept saying it was the last one, and I'm like, I really want to do something with her. And she, she's like, the next year she's not going to be able to do it. I'm like, shoot, I'm going to fear of missing out. And this seemed like a last opportunity, even if I didn't get a business off the ground. I think I realized that just this experience alone, I would learn so much that it would be worth every penny. And I was right. I took the leap, and it's been a great experience, and I'll never regret it. Yeah.
Is it safe to say it was worth the investment?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Can you say that louder? Yes. Well, we're only halfway through, by the way. Right. And Crystal's already made her investment back. So Charlene's close. But it is also, what do you think this weekend would have been worth in dollars? More than you paid for what? The entire year? This weekend was worth more than the entire year. Yeah. Okay. So, and there's 2 of these, they're included. And of course the price will go up, but because this first one, it was my first one. And that was kind of part of my, negotiation do I know that what I'm going to do with you will be worth more than, yes. Like when I priced it out, I was like, this is what it's worth. And then I thought, I'm not comfortable charging that much yet. Is it worth it? Yes. But I have to be where I am because I haven't done this before in this kind of way. And I don't know who's going to be coming along for the journey and what's going to happen in the year. So here's what I'm comfortable with. And because it was so damn low, I was like, you're going to make this back. And if I can't help you make this back, if you do all the things, of course, right? If somebody doesn't show up to any of the calls, doesn't come to the weekend, is resistant to all the learning, that's on you. But if you literally trust everyone else in the group and the feedback and you take action and you don't succeed, then yeah, I stand behind my word. I wanted proof. I wanted social proof that it works, that this community that I have built and attracted is strong enough to really move mountains in people's personal lives as well as their businesses, and that this way of living and building a business that's sustainable is possible in other people's lives. I've done it, but I haven't really helped anyone else do it in this way long term. So you were the guinea pigs. So thank you. Or what's another word for guinea pigs? Because that's like not a pretty thing. You were the test subjects. That's even less personal. Yeah, well, you were the founders. You were the initiators. You were the incubators. So I really appreciate all of your trust in me and the community for doing this. And I hope that everyone listening today, whether it's right for you or not, maybe someone else's group is better for you for whatever reason. Listen to your intuition. But what I do know is I've talked with a handful of you in the past who it was right for, and you let your upper limit get in the way. I know it. And when I push hard and when I'm in your face, it isn't because I need your freaking couple hundred or a couple $1,000s to make my life any different, because it doesn't. It's because I know I can help and the community can help and investing in yourself can help. So I don't want you to miss the opportunity. Like Sherry was saying, 20 years down, like, oh, I thought about it and I didn't do it. I didn't believe in myself. So for those of you that I pushed a little too hard who didn't end up doing it, I hope to God that you have succeeded and you are moving forward without me in this group. And if you're someone who's thinking about it, there will be applications available. And the link will be in the show notes to see if you're the right fit for 2021. But these women, and it isn't just women, we'll see who is attracted. There's no gender bias, sexual orientation bias, race, religion, age, social, economic status, educational. There's none of that. Because again, if you're listening to the show, you are unique enough and your vibrational energy is high enough to match what's going on in this room. So I thank you for listening. I thank all of you for your trust. I thank you all here, especially for your fearlessness of traveling during this crazy time to say my business, my community, my soul, my life, my freedom, my creativity, my emotional state is worth me getting on a plane, dealing with crazy freaking people to get to take and to go against other people in your lives. So I appreciate your fearlessness, and hopefully you feel the same way. And with that said, I wish all of you that are out there much success in whatever you're doing. I hope you have derived some inspiration from today from these wonderful, amazing, fearless warrior women. And we hope to meet you at a future event. Ciao.